everyone. I, Neodev Ghosh, Peace House Vice Captain,
And I, Vidhan Narayan, Unity House Vice Captain.
welcome you all to the digital platform of BHIS Council Chronicles.
BHIS has always been innovative with respect to its extracurricular activities.
BHIS Chronicles, time and again, has been making lovely endeavors to open the arena of widespread knowledge through the vast spectrum of speakers from different fields.
The BHIS Student Council takes the initiative with an enterprising and informative session with Mr. Alankar Srivastava.
Time, the clock is always ticking towards deadline, and that's what gets him going. Being a part of history when it's made is the reason he got into journalism, to which he has given more than a decade. An ability to deliver thought provoking content and a knack for connecting with the readership got him into the big media groups, such as the Indian Express and the Times of India, at the start of his career.
He got a chance to do a little bit of everything. He got a chance to do a little bit of everything at startup and build a business from ground up at Zopac. As the editor at large of the publishing house LB Associates Private Limited. He was the head of the editorial department and contract publishing division, wherein he met and interviewed heads of state, ambassadors, high commissioners, foreign ministers, and business leaders.
Mr. Alankar Srivastava is responsible for strengthening the market position, securing new business deals, exploring business avenues, expanding the footprints, and enhancing the reputation of the 26 Hub.
We would like to welcome our guest speaker for the day, Mr. Alankar Srivastava, who will throw light on a conversation about digital literacy, digital footprint, and digital hygiene.
Not wasting much time, let's ask our guest speaker to speak magniloquently on this topic, which will lead us to give approbation for his magnificent work.
You see, after such an introduction, I can't wait to hear what I'm going to say. So thank you so much, guys. Just you have in front of me in about 2 minutes, you have put together my journey so far. And I'm thankful to Billabong, Mrs. Preeti Agrawal, Dr. Smita, and all the students who are part of this platform. So what I would say that, I'm not a very big fan of PowerPoint presentation, PDFs, and all those stuff. Okay. So I'll try to maintain the sanctity of the conversation. And conversation is supposed to, you all must be knowing, it's supposed to be a dialogue, not a monologue. Okay. So on this Sunday evening, I don't want to inflict another speech on all of you. I would just share some of my insights, learnings that I have had over the last decade or so, and we try to explore some answers to the world that we are living in right now. Okay. Now, over the last 3 decades or so, we have created a parallel world uh, called the digital world. Okay, so we have made life certainly, comparatively difficult to this generation, because if I talk about the pre-internet era, before Google and Facebook, there were challenges, the challenges of their own, and those generation, they navigated through all the challenges that came on their way in the physical world. But what has happened very interestingly over the last 30 to 40 years, that now this generation, your generation, will have to navigate not through only the physical world, but also the digital world. And when I say digital world, it's not a world, it's rather an universe that we have created. So, I've been associated with Billabong for more than 2 years now. And I can tell you one thing, that I don't look at teachers, I don't call them teachers at Billabong Kanpur. I look at them as the best managers, because they are managing the world's greatest resource, children like you. Okay?
Sure.
I hear some noise. If am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay, I just
Yes.
heard some noise. If you could unmute yourself. I mean, okay. So, let me begin. What I was saying that the teachers at Billabong, they are, I always, in my discussion with Mrs. Agrawal also, I used to say that I look at them as the world's best managers because they are managing resources, the greatest resources like you guys, who all are part of this platform and part of the school. Now, keeping it as a conversation, let me begin by asking a question to all of you. I believe no one on this platform would ever want to be used by somebody else to further their agenda or to push their narrative. Am I right? No, none of you would want to be used, rather misused by a third party to push their agenda, isn't it? I'm waiting for an answer. I mean, you would not deliberately want yourself to be used by a party or somebody else to push their agenda, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So then that makes this conversation, this session very interesting for all of you. Now, I don't have all the answers, but we'll try to explore and see what all answers we could, derive from this very engaging and I would say a very topical session because it's very relevant in the times we live. Now, if I say that in the next hour or so, when we are having this dialogue, the digital world, it would have sparked a communal riot in some part of the world, a racist attack in some other, might have led to a breakdown of law and order machinery in some other part, led to a huge threat of violence against women particularly, and might have led to, cheating millions of people around the globe of their hard-earned money. So in the next 1 hour or so, all these things would have happened thanks to the digital world that we have created. So that makes this session so interesting, and for all of you young generation, it's very important for all of you to understand the world we have created, the challenges that comes with it, and just try to navigate through it. Okay. Now coming to digital literacy part. See, this initiative, I am told that it's an initiative by the students, this BHIS Council Chronicles, right? So it's purely students driven. So what I am led to believe that the students who have been behind this initiative, you have the capability to create a digital platform like the one that we are having discussion on. So you have already taken a step, a small one rather, towards digital literacy. But does that make you a digital literate person? So let's try and find answer to that question. When we say digital literacy, what exactly we mean by that? One thing is, if you could read whatever you earlier used to read words on pages, if you could read on the screen, you are taking small steps towards digital literacy. So that you all, I assume, are capable of. You can read information from the internet, from the Google, from whatever sources that you come across, and you can collect information. So that's one part. Now the second one is create. Can you create information, create content on digital medium? I believe you all can, because this initiative is a testimony to that, because it's, as I was mentioning earlier, it's all student driven. So you have already made a progression, taken another step. Now let's come to the most challenging part. All these are fine, but there is something called navigating and evaluating digital content. Are you guys capable of doing that, or are you all careful in when you are trying to evaluate the content that is being produced every minute, every hour on this digital world? So that's a question that you need, not for me, you all need to ask this question. Now, let's get back to the serious situation now. What I was mentioning earlier on the start of the conversation, that while we are having this dialogue, this inability of, not being able to evaluate or navigate through this digital content, it would have led to loss of lives. It would have led to loss of huge financial resources. It's not just India specific, it applies to every nook and corner of the world. So now I'll just give you certain examples. As I told you, you can take all this as my opening remarks. And once when I am done, I would appreciate if you all could come forward with your views, and I will be happy to take some questions also. Now, I'll just cite certain specific examples. I don't know all of you, but some of you might be aware of CPWD. There is this organization, CPWD, Government Department, Central Public Works Department. It takes care of highways, construction of roads and other stuff in India. Okay. So it's a government body. Now, what happened recently, it's just last week only, this incident happened. So when you visit any website, or you do internet banking, for example, then there is a specific URL of that website, okay, whom you access. Now, the problem with this is, in this case, what happened, through just one dot, and that led to loss of crores of rupees. About 50 young people were cheated of their money. What the fraudsters did, the URL of the CPWD department is www.cpwd.gov.in. This is the original website, the URL of this department, the government agency, quite a big one. Tomorrow, many of you would go into engineering profession. You would be getting an opportunity to work with CPWD. It's a dream for any engineer to be part of such a organization. You get to work on big projects. Now, what the fraudsters did and how they, capitalized on this, I would say, digital illiteracy of netizens, they created another website. And the website URL was, they just removed one dot. And so the new website becomes cpwd.gov.in. So it's very similar, just one dot was missing. And that led to about 50, if not more, people falling in the trap. So they have opened vacancies on this website. They announced vacancies. People contacted through this website, taking them as an authentic government agency. And then, all this, since there were frauds, they asked for money, which is never the case when you are dealing with government agency for an employment opportunities. And but that's the thing, when you are not digitally literate to the extent that you can navigate and evaluate the consequences of which website you are visiting, then that leads to some serious consequences. And you won't believe, just one missing dot led to loss of crores of rupees. More than 50 people were cheated by these fraudsters. So now this is what I call, digital literacy. So you need to be very careful. As I mentioned earlier, we have made life very difficult for you guys. That I can tell you. Our parents, our earlier generations, they, as I was telling you earlier, they had their own challenges that comes with the physical world. But then all of you have to navigate both through the physical as well as the virtual world. So therein, understanding the nuances of this medium is very important. Now, this is just one example, and there could be many. And I can't even tell you, as I told you at the start, I don't have all the answers. If you ask me, so which website we shouldn't visit or which website we should rely on, I can only say that never go to Google and type or search for an organization. Try to find from authentic source. Now, when I say authentic source, if some of you follow news, I know it's a very young audience out here and I'm from news background. So there are many things that's happening in the news front right now. So I can't even say that which is credible, which is not, but always try to go visit a website which the URL of which you are sure of, right? So try to find from your sources through credible government agencies and then only visit. More so when you are doing any financial transaction, because therein also that any amount of digital illiteracy can the cheaters can swindle you of your hard-earned money. So it's very important. I can say at this stage that when you are searching for an organization, the habit is to go to Google and try to find out information. You do that because there is no escaping Google in the age we live. But then cross-check, verify. Now see, if those 50 people would have been slightly careful, they would have got to know that one dot is missing. But then that missing dot, how to spot and identify, that makes a digitally literate, netizen of today. Today, everybody is on internet. I mean, the thing is that if you are not on internet, if you are not on Google, you don't exist, because that's the world we have created. So we need to be very careful about that. Now let's come to the amount of content that we generate. Digital data, the digital footprint, what we say in technical term. So all the posts, all the tweets, texts, images, videos, comments on a certain post, all these are your digital footprints that you create whenever you are using any of the social media platforms or any digital platform for that matter. So how to ensure that, if somebody can just unmute their mic, because I can hear some noise.
Please, whoever is unmuted, please mute yourself.
So, so whenever you are what I was talking about is you got to be very careful when it comes to dealing with such stuff. So whatever digital footprint you are creating, you need to see that it's not falling into the wrong hands, right? And it's not being misused against you only. Have you ever wondered, your teachers must have told you that there is a old saying that there's nothing like free lunch. In this world, you nothing get for free. There is a price that you got to pay for everything, right? Now, have you ever wondered these social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Insta, YouTube, any platform you name, when you use those platforms, they don't ask for anything. They don't ask for your money, right? They never ask for money. But the question, the thing to ponder is that how do they run their organization? Tomorrow, many of you would go on and start your own companies, like I am doing for the last 3 years. So I just wanted to mention that. So, in that case, when you run an organization, you need money. You have to pay salaries to your team. There are infrastructure costs, office expenses, everything. So how come this Facebook, Twitter, they never ask? You just go, they all say it's free, and it is actually free. But here's the catch. You are the product. All the digital footprint that you create when you use these platforms, so you become the product for these social media giants. There is a nice saying that goes about Facebook, a joke rather, that Facebook, is something like a priest in a confession box. Some of you might have visited church. The practice of confession box, right? Okay. So, people say that Facebook is just like a priest in a confession box. So you go to Facebook, Facebook is acting like a priest, you confess wherever you have went, whomever you have met, you want to share about your family, your friends, everything, right? So, and you make certain confessions, certain how you spend your day for that matter. So what Facebook does, Facebook, being the priest, it listens to all your confession in the form of digital footprint that you create. And then it predicts what confession you are going to make in future. in days, weeks, months, years ahead, based on the prediction, confession that you are making at that time, at that moment. Okay. So now what Facebook does, what the priest does, this priest is tied to a supercomputer. Please understand it this way. It would be very easy and entertaining to understand also, and that would save you from a lot of problems. So what happens now, this priest is tied to a supercomputer. So it is just very conveniently taking all your confessions and also making prediction about future confessions and then selling it to a third party, to advertisers. Because based on what you like, your one like, your one like on any post, that says a lot about your interests, your hobbies, your political affiliation, if you have any at this age. Because I'm sure nowadays, even at a very young age, kids are very politically aware, because that's the politics is one thing that media, social media covers a lot. Now that's another interesting story I'll tell you. I mean, forgive me if I slightly diverse from the topic, but I can tell you that it would be very helpful. Why politics, dominates our space, social media or traditional media, TV channels, print, magazines, websites, because ours is a developing country, and people, they want to know what politicians are doing for us. So whether you want it or not, but by default, all of them, all of you in your growing years, you have been growing by consumption of more and more of political content. So whether you like it or not, you can't say that you are apolitical. So based on these confessions that you make on Facebook, they make a kind of prediction about your future political affiliation, the kind of adults you would grow up into, based on your interests, your hobbies, your say likes about a particular brand, and all these things are taken together very conveniently, while all through being fed up on all of you that it's all free. Don't worry, Neodev, it's all free. Everything is free, and you are very happy. You're sharing your whatever your thought process, your families, your friends, pictures, photos, everything on internet. Now this digital footprint is what that these tech giants, Facebook, Insta, Twitter, they use, and they make billions of rupees. You won't believe, billions and billions of dollars they earn out of this content. I'm not discouraging, don't get off this media, because that's not feasible. But then you got to be very careful about the kind of content you create on social media, the kind of stuff you use on social media. And one more thing, slowly we'll be moving towards digital hygiene part. When I say digital hygiene, remember on Facebook, uh, there is an old saying. It goes like, enemy's enemy is your friend, right? You must all have heard about it. Enemy's enemy is your friend. But please remember, when it comes to social media, friends is not your friend. So on social media, especially on Facebook and all these platforms, if you see, they'll keep reminding you, you might know this, a friend request would come from someone you don't know, or even someone could be a friend of your friend, but that not necessarily make him or her your friend. Okay, so be very careful. Don't accept any random friend request. And I would request all the members, all the students who are part of this platform, and all of you who are part of this platform rather, that while using this media, be very careful. Now, there is another funny thing that's happening. Why it is that, what is the business model? Why this social media? When I started, I told you that now we are into about half an hour into this discussion. And in this time, there could have been some riots somewhere in some part of the world. And, only purely because of social media. The kind of inflammatory content, the violent content, the threat of violence against women, cheating, fraud, all these things would have happened. So it's very important to understand the nuances, to stay away from, people who are whom you are not aware about. And now despite all these things, you know, or taking all the precautions, you guys are very young. You are just starting your life, I would say. You know, anybody knows who is the richest man right now on this earth?
Sir
Name.
Jeff Bezos.
Right, right. So now he got all the resources with himself. Of course, he is the richest man. Plus his company Amazon, he has the data, our data, your data. I also use Amazon. Many of you must be using Amazon. So we all have our data parked with Amazon. Now the boss of Amazon, who is the richest man on this earth, his social media, his phone was hacked recently, if any of you would be aware. Now imagine someone like him with all the safety net, all the precautions, all the resources at his command, even his phone was hacked. And how it happened? Most of you would be using mobile phones, I know, because at a very young age now people are using mobile phones. And because of this COVID situation this year, you know, as parents, what we believe that the screen time should be limited. But this 2020 has changed everything. The studies, education, everything is happening on screen only. So you receive any SMS, any message with any link, you know, a shady looking kind of an SMS, please don't click on that link. That's very important. Please never click on that link. Unless and until it is from a known person. And when I say known person, maybe your friend, your family, someone in your family, or your close network, your circle, they forward you some email. So while forwarding that message to somebody else, you know, you take all necessary precautions. Is it actually necessary for you to forward that message ahead to others? And while posting anything, or any content on social media or any platform that you all may use, be very careful. As in, if you think that, you know, that content is, you won't like that content with your, maybe on a billboard with your face plastered on it, on some major, you know, highway or in the city, please don't use it on any of your platform, because that can lead to some serious implications. And that your one like, your one tweet, your one comment, your one post, one video, one text, one image, it can be misused. It can be used, rather misused, to set a particular narrative. You know, my profile, I say journalist and storyteller. I'll tell you the story behind it. You know, as journalists, we are supposed to tell facts, right? But, and as storytellers, we are supposed to tell story. Now, why I call myself journalist as well as a storyteller? It's a very interesting. I hope you all would like it, because, you know, facts, there is a old saying that facts tell, but stories sell. Okay. So if I tell you, because generally truth is fairly boring. If I'm just talking as a media person, okay. So generally what happens is, if I tell you, if I talk about hunger, if I talk about unemployment, so it's not a good thing to put it this way, but then they are very hard to sensationalize. It's very difficult to sensationalize those things. When I talk about, say, you must have heard about, say, Bollywood actress Deepika Padukone, or a very sad demise of Sushant Singh Rajput. Many of you would be aware of this story. I hope so, right? So these are very easy to sensationalize, this kind of stuff. So whatever content that you see that on the digital media, when you use or visit any website, so just try to understand from where it's coming from. Okay. And as I always say, because it's like in a week I do about 5 to 10 such you know, talk. So I'll tell you one thing, that if you are one of them, if you believe everything you read, better don't read. So that's my advice to all of you, because please understand, there is an agenda behind it. Gone are the days, as I am telling you again and again on this platform, We have made this world very difficult for you guys. So you got to be very smart. You all are smart, I know. You all are very smart for your age. You are more aware of things that probably we or our earlier generations were not aware of at this age. But still, you got to be very shrewd, very careful, and when using and creating and evaluating all this digital content. Okay, so the thing is, the business model of this social media is it's attention. Attention is one thing that's the business model, not facts, not truth. I have worked a lot with news websites in my career. I can tell you one thing, whether it be the Times of India, I have been part of it, or the Indian Express. What we are, I'm a trained journalist. So what we are told is work on the headlines. Headlines are very important. Make it sensationalized, make it click worthy. So as a trained journalist, as somebody who have been part of all this major news desk, I can tell you that the news that you get, it's someone like me who is sitting there, who is filtering all the hordes of news come. When you track wires, when I say wire, I mean agencies. There are certain news agencies like Reuters, ANI, PTI, UNI. So they send lots of stories. Almost in a minute, you will get about, say, more than 100 stories. Now, someone like me who is sitting at the news desk decides I am the one who is filtering those news, hundreds of stories, and then deciding this story should reach you guys when you go to the Times of India or to the Indian Express. So therein lies the challenge of understanding. Don't take everything at face value. More so on this in this digital world, I would say. So just apply caution, be very careful of what you read, what you post, what you comment, because you won't realize, but what would happen that your one post, your one comment could have helped someone set their own agenda. So as storytellers, what we do, we storytellers, are the people who are, I would say, the most powerful people of this world. I can give you one example. See, please don't get me wrong. I'm not discouraging anyone who is learning coding. I'm not a technical guy. I am a storyteller. I am a journalist. I create content, I evaluate content, I deliver content that suits my readership. Okay. So I'm being very brutally honest with all of you. Now, this coding game, which is happening at a very young age, I mean, I see many kids at Billabong also learning coding. It's a good thing, very good. But I'll tell you how come this all started, this coding business. I'll tell you. This as storyteller, we set narrative. Now there is this discussion going on that maybe the future that lies ahead of us post-COVID era, either you can be a creator of technology or you can be consumer of technology. Please understand the difference. Okay, creator of technology or consumer of technology. So what is being fed upon this young generation is that if you are creator of technology, as in if you learn coding, then you will have a better life. When I say better life, I mean a fat paycheck, a luxurious lifestyle, right? So now, but the thing is, who is setting this narrative? Now therein comes the storyteller's part. So there is someone out there who is pushing this agenda. I'm not going on the veracity of this theory that coding is very important. It could be, it could not be. I don't know, because I'm not the right person to even comment on that. I'm just trying to explain to you how these narratives get pushed. And therein the role of digital media plays, it comes in. If many of you, if you are checking your emails nowadays over the last 6 months or so, almost in every promotional mail, you will see learn coding, right? Learn coding. What I'm telling you, if you want to go for it, please go. Learn coding, become another Bill Gates or maybe Steve Jobs, maybe even bigger than them. That's very good. But do what you want. Don't let your life be dictated by storytellers like me. I'm being very honest with all of you. So if you go, if you want to become a writer, for example, if you want to become a writer, if you want to become a novelist, if you want to become a sports person, then don't let that passion, that maybe a quality that you would like to explore more of yourself, be distract you by someone who is pushing a particular narrative. Okay, so these are some of my thoughts I wanted to share with all of you when it comes to digital literacy, digital footprint, and digital hygiene. And now coming to the last part, digital hygiene, I would tell you that, when you use social media, what are the precautions? As I already mentioned, despite taking all the precautions, if someone like Jeff Bezos, if he couldn't save himself, who are we, right? So now if God forbid, if you get trapped, if you fall into such a trap, what to do? What is the recourse? So one thing is, every social media platform, there would be one report abuse thing. Immediately file a report. If somebody is harassing you, stalking you, some stranger sending you something, materials that are inappropriate for you, or you don't wish those kind of content, then please report all the abuse. Every social media platform has that. Then don't even
No, I can't hear you.
but I'm trying my best. You can't hear me.
Whoever
My
this
Sir,
audio.
is,
you're
I
very
guess.
audible.
So you're very audible. I
Sir,
guess
you're
it is
very
the
audible.
connection.
Yes, sir.
I guess the connection issues from the child that cannot hear. Try to
Okay.
reconnect. You're audible, sir.
Okay. So whenever something like this happens, because even if we keep all the precautions, things sometimes don't work our way, and we are trapped. We are caught in a mess that we want to get out with. Now, how do you get out of that? The first and foremost thing when it comes to maintaining and ensuring digital hygiene is report it to the respective social media platforms immediately. Next step, contact the cyber cell. Cyber cell, every police department, every district, every state has a cyber cell. Approach them. I'll suggest you that there is a Twitter handle, Cyber Dost. You can cross check. Maybe I'm getting the name incorrect. It's by the Ministry of Home Affairs. Cyber Dost, it goes something like that. You can cross check, you can find out. It's by Ministry of Home Affairs. So they provide tips how to stay safe from cyber crime. Okay, so learn all that, explore, and maybe you all can find much better answers than what I have learned over last 10 15 years. So these are some of my opening remarks I wanted to make regarding this very important session, because when I was told this, I was very happy that at least at young age I would be able to. Normally my audience are very grown up professionals, so I'm also being very careful that you please understand, because if you don't understand what I'm saying, if you're not able to connect with my whatever I'm making my remarks, then I have failed as a storyteller or as a communicator, as a journalist. So I don't want, please don't let me, don't disappoint me. So I hope you all understood something about digital world, how to play safe, how to act smart in the digital world so that no one can trap you. And remember, the last word is that only. Friend's friend is not your friend. So don't accept random friend requests from anyone. So these are some of my opening remarks. Now I would like to hear some of your views and would be happy to take questions if there are any.
So, can I ask something?
Please go ahead.
Sir, should we not like post, comment, and like post, comment on social media? And if no, then how can we keep precautions?
No, I never said that please don't post comment. I said post, post text, post images, post videos, post comments, everything. But be careful. When I say be careful, I mean that I'll give you guys are very young, but I think you must know this because there is so much of exposure for all of you. So recently what happened, Smita, I think I can discuss something about what happened in UP, right? Some time back, not in that details, the Hathras incident. If I can talk about that. I won't be getting into details, but I just want to mention one thing, that there is some one incident, one crime happened in UP. Now, overnight, one website was created in the name of the victim, that we are fighting to ensure justice for that woman who was killed. Now, overnight, this website was created. A lot of comments.
And her name is Manisha.
People started posting a lot of comments, and all these content, generated. It led to, it could have sparked off a caste riot in that state. So when I say, I'm nowhere saying that don't comment. Please comment. But you have to be smart. You need to see that your comment is not being used by someone else for their agenda. So this much smartness should come from you only.
Okay, sir. So,
Yes, please go ahead.
so do you think software proficiency, technical writing, and programming languages can stop digital theft?
Can you be a bit laudable? I mean, I can't hear you. Can you? Can you come again? Can you please come again?
So do you think software proficiency, technical writing, and programming languages can stop digital theft?
Yes, to some extent it will, but all this programming, coding, programming language, I'm not saying because I'm not from that background, but all these apps, all these programming languages, they are not enough to ensure safety. The safety is self-awareness, self-regulation, your ability to think. I would rather say, please do learn all that, how to make apps, how to create websites, how to learn all the digital tools, all the technical stuff. Do learn technical writing. Yes, anything related to writing, I will always say yes, because this is what I have been doing. So please learn everything, but please remember, it's your own ability to think, analyze. I know it's too big an ask at your age. Uh, we were not confronted with this kind of situation, but then there's no escaping. As I'm saying again and again, you have to think smart, read as many things as possible. But then again, I'll repeat that line. If you believe everything you read, I would say better don't read. So please apply your mind, read, post comment. Of course, do post comment, but on a personal level, I can tell you one thing. I'm not someone who, I am on Facebook because as I said, there's no escaping. You got to be there. Brands are there. My company takes care of a lot of brands, including Billabong, the school you belong to. So you see, there's no escaping, as I say. But when it comes to on a personal level, I would say, I never share photos of my family, my friends. I never share that because uh, like I say, there's no escaping this social media platform. But this is a call you need to take. I'm not discouraging. Maybe some of you would go partying or with your family. You would like to, post photos, comments come, you become happy. So all this happiness and all is fine. But please remember, all these things is being used by somebody else who is sitting in US. So, so please understand that.
So my one
then
question.
Yes,
Sir?
please go ahead.
So then how to extract implicit and explicit ideas?
Please come again. I'm sorry. I think there's something wrong with your audio.
Sir, he asked the question, how to extract implicit and explicit ideas.
Implicit and explicit ideas.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's too profound a question coming from you. First of all, I would say that. Now, implicit and explicit, it all depends on your mental faculty, your conditioning. You, at times, there would be something very explicit in your face kind of content that you can make out. You can make out what the person, what the organization or the brands are trying to say. But then there is something, what we say, reading between the lines. You know how to read between the lines. In my school, there used to be reading session. So we were given a book and my English teacher would say that, please read, comprehension. How do you read to, improve and judge your reading ability? That we are taught. but are we taught reading between the lines? I want Dr. Smita to talk on that rather. Are we telling our kids now? I have not been part of, education field to say particularly, but it's very important what this kid is asking that are we teaching them? Are we teaching them how to read between the lines? It's a challenging aspect, but I think it's time teachers and all the educators think about it and try to find a way how we make this generation more aware, isn't it, Dr. Smita?
Yes, sir, definitely.
So any more thoughts, any views, not just
Yeah, sir.
question,
I
anything that comes to your mind, please do
Yeah,
share.
sir, I would like to ask, like, sir, we have been using Facebook, Twitters, and other social media sites, wherein we post our own thoughts and ideas. So, like, you were saying that your digital footprint is being utilized by somebody else sitting in US or any other country. So, how are they utilizing our stuff? Suppose if we have written a sort of a poem on this digital forum, and then how it is being utilized by these miscreants?
See, that depends on the kind of content you are putting on your Twitter or Insta or Facebook. Now, most of the time what happens is bought a phone, a new phone, iPhone or whatever. This tendency of, I'm not saying you, but of many people to showcase it on social media. That so that content gives an impression that you are a fan, a loyal fan of that particular brand, right? So now what happens is this same content, this is just an example I'm giving. Now, what Facebook does, what all these tech giants do, they collect all this data. There is some moderator sitting out there. Okay. So I won't call them content moderator. I would rather call them, they are marketing people. So they take note of this content that, okay, say for example, Dr. Smita has bought this phone, and she's talking lavishly about this phone, the features. Maybe people do that, they post, or maybe some nice brand of clothing brand that you use, so you put it over there. Now that particular brand, nowadays the digital advertisement is a huge market. In fact, in the Western world, the print electronic media, they stand nowhere when it comes to advertisement on the social media. So this, now that one Dr. Smita in India has liked this particular phone or this particular clothing brand, so when those people, they advertise, so what happens, that advertisement suppose will only come in your feed when you open your Facebook or Twitter. So so that advertisement will come only on your feed. It won't come on my page because I haven't liked that. Maybe I have put something else. Looking for a say, I have just, you must have noticed, like on your laptop, on your system, you go to Google, you type luxury trip, cruise trip, right? You just make one search. Now next time when you log into Facebook, you will see a lot of advertisements related to cruise ships or luxury trips around the world. How it happens? There at least there would be somebody who is monitoring. There is someone, big brother, what we say in media, one big brother is watching each and every move. Now I went to Google, I didn't even open my Facebook, I didn't even log on to my Facebook. I went to Google, I typed luxury cruise ships, maybe just for my information, maybe I don't plan to go. But then the moment next time I go and open Facebook, how come the same, advertisement from Malaysia, Singapore, US, Italy, Spain, everybody starts coming in. So that is what I say, that your content being used to for advertisement purposes. Now these advertisers, they pay billions of dollars to all these tech giants. And when I say that why you need to be very watchful of the content that you see on this social media nowadays, even in mainstream media, I will say about TV channels, newspaper, any medium. That's why again and again I'm saying that you got to be extra careful these days. The kind of world we have created, the entire business model. As I was explaining about my days at the Times of India and the Indian Express, it's like, the whole model is about attention. We want your attention because that's the most precious commodity in the digital world. if Dr. Smita knew if they visit my website, I have a couple of websites that I run, my company runs. So I need more subscribers. Now, how I get more visitors to my website? If I generate thought-provoking content, that's one way about it. But that will lead to a certain amount of visitors, a certain number of visitors coming to my website. Now, if I sensationalize, why is this tendency, if you see from the mainstream media also, and also from the social media, they thrive on sensationalism. So that's one aspect that you need to be careful about. And when I say that, that's how they use all the content that you generate and sell it to the advertisers, because it's very simple to understand. See, nobody gives anything to you for free. After all, Facebook has to make money, and they are making lots of money through this medium only. So please use. I'm never, not at all, because it's in today's time is very difficult. If you're not on social media, most of the time your career opportunities, academic opportunities, you get through social media. There's a huge positive side to social media. Now, recently, I'll tell you, because I am touching a lot upon negative aspect, but there are a lot of positive aspect to it. I don't know if one of you are aware of this thing, that recently one Baba Ka Dhaba, this hashtag was trending. If any one of you have noticed on social media, that's thanks to one YouTube.
Yes, sir.
Right? You saw that. Now, see, that is having an impact. Whatever we do, I believe, everybody is out there to make money. So let's not get into that. But are we, through our endeavor, through our action, through our companies that we create, or through our social media post, are we creating a positive impact on our society? Now, social media plays a huge role. Now, see this 80-year-old couple, so old, nowadays in 30s, 40s, people are getting tired. So this guy, because of lockdown, they were struggling to make their ends meet. They have in Malviya Nagar in Delhi, they have a chota sa dhaba, a very small dhaba, where they sell matar paneer, roti, rice, normal, like which you could see spot at any corner of this country. And they were struggling. Now this one influencer, so this nowadays social media, there is this term social media influencers. So they influence sale of a brand, they influence credibility of a person, they also influence, and bring about positive impact, say, on the society. For someone like this struggling, very old 80 plus couple, who were at this age, trying to make their ends meet by working. And that's the thing. After that, so many people started visiting. Whoever is crossing through that part of Delhi, Malviya Nagar, they would, even if they don't feel like it, you feel like stopping over there, have one roti or rice or what. So that's how it is. There is a huge positive impact of social media also. So
that is also happened in Sushant Singh Rajput case.
Yes, please go ahead.
Sir, the power of social media also happened in the Sushant Singh Rajput case.
Yes, true. Because had it not been for that, maybe it would not have even come there where it has reached. Nobody knows the truth of the matter, but at least, because of social media, because of this, it is a very powerful tool, I would say, in the hands of the common man. Today, you can see, earlier when I'm talking about pre-social media, pre-internet age, you can never ask questions from anyone. Today, you can tag PMO, Prime Minister's Office, if you have some issues, if you want to bring his attention, the PMO's attention to some aspect, your thought, you could tag them. So it's a very powerful tool to bring about desired changes also. But as I say, like,
that's the real democracy,
in any
sir.
sphere of life, there are bad and good elements. People would like to use, try to gain from somebody else's presence on this social media. So be careful. And there is a whole lot of positive aspect of social media. Even I can talk about Billabong, your school here. We have been handling these social media platforms of Billabong and Kanpur. And the kind of content we have generated, thanks to you guys. I mean, the activities you do, curricular, extracurricular, sports activity. I mean, you name it and everything is out there. My digital team is working round the clock to put what all you generate. Now, this particular platform, the content that we are generating, you are generating rather. So those content goes on social media. So it strengthens the brand also. You know, tomorrow you guys will graduate from the school, you will come out of the school. Tomorrow more students will join the school. So thanks to this content on all these platforms. So that makes it so interesting and happening place to be on. But then as like any aspect of life, good, bad, try to understand, be careful. Don't do any random post. Don't go for any random clicks on any link. Before posting, as I said, if you remember this thing, many of you would have seen billboards, right? On highways, on the roads when you
So
go.
can I ask something?
So when you see those billboards, before you are posting anything, just imagine, would you like that post, that comment of yours on a billboard with your face plastered on it? If the answer is no, don't post, don't comment. If the answer is yes, go ahead. Go ahead, post, comment. That's the point. Yes, somebody was asking something. Please go ahead.
So can IPR help us to protect our digital intellect?
When you say digital intellect, what do you mean by that?
So like sensitive information if we by mistake only post, or like if we intentionally post.
See, whatever you post, whether you call it IPR, you call it whatever, you use any app, if you have posted, it's out there for the world to see, right? So there's no, there's no guarantee of any safety out there. If you haven't put, it's not there. But if you have put, it's there for the world to see what you have put, right? So the rule, I would say the rule of the thumb, the thumb rule is exercise restraint, exercise caution, be careful, read multiple sources. Now, if suppose one piece of information comes to you, any piece of information, I'm not talking about news only because you guys are very young, at this stage. Any piece of information you are looking for, if it comes to you, what I say, go for multiple sources. Don't just read, like, you say, it is said that in heart related issues, if somebody is having some heart related complications, it's always
Sir,
a
IPR is not
to
an app.
consult more than one doctor. So similarly, when you are
Sir,
looking
IPR
for
is
a
not
piece
an
of
app.
information, please unmute yourself. Please don't let me.
Please let sir answer the question.
So whenever you are looking for a piece of information, try to have it from as many sources as possible, and then apply your mind. Then see which source looks comparatively credible than others. That's the way to go about it. Otherwise, I can tell you, you can name n number of apps, you can name n number of IPRs and all those stuff. Nothing gonna save you. It's more about self-regulation, because there are bad elements out there. I mean, they can break open any app, any password protected stuff also. So that's why I say don't leave too much of your trail. If you want to post something that with an intention to bring about maybe desired positive changes, rather than contributing to sensationalism or negativity, because we have enough of that. Don't worry about that. We adults have taken care of negativity part. So that also you need to understand. When it comes to sensationalism, when it comes to negativity, that we are more than capable of generating that. So at least this generation, the upcoming generation, think more about positive aspect, use all these platforms, visit website, try to make yourself as much aware as possible, but with the intention of bringing about positive changes. And again, I would say, I'm not saying if you guys go out partying, having a good time, fun time with your family, friends, if you feel like sharing, do share. But then use all those, go to privacy settings, make it very secure, whatever to the best of that platform allows you. So keep visiting those privacy settings, and try to, you can use some, some technical person can answer you that question. There are certain tools through which nobody can copy your photo. your photos that you post on social media or anywhere else. So use all those necessary safety net, and then go about it. But then try to use this medium with a intent to bring about a positive change in society, which could have, which is good for our country, good for this world. And tomorrow, why just, and one more, Smita, I would like to mention this part. I also see this in my family. Now, there are a lot of games, PUBG, and recently it was banned. There are many video games out there. Kids are very fond of that in their growing years. And even when what we are talking about this social media, why shall we only be talking with the aspect of as a consumer? Like in the initially when we were talking, I was saying that whether you want to be creator of technology or a consumer of technology. Now many kids are asking this question. Shall we post this? Yeah, shall we not post? How to find out implicit, explicit content? My thing is, rather than worrying so much about these existing social media platforms, why can't one of you go ahead and create a new platform altogether, much better than Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn? Why not? Why this innovation doesn't come to us naturally? So right now also, now that this thing has started, coding and all, and maybe somebody who is genuinely interested in it, not being pushed through an agenda. If somebody is good in football, please go play football, make a career out of that. But the thing is, like I can tell you, I have a daughter, she's just 4 now, and I see a passion for her, when it comes to drawing. So I don't want her to learn coding, for example. It's too early to even predict what she's gonna do in her career, in her life. But my point is, whatever you want to do, don't let somebody else, somebody like me, for example, because see, we set an agenda. Now I say that we take care of brands, right? For that we are paid. So my loyalty is towards that brand is because I'm getting paid for that. So when you see all this kind of stuff, content on your social media feed coming or on such website, please understand there is someone like Alankar Srivastava sitting out there who is creating, pushing a particular narrative because that person is getting money for that. Okay. So this, I know these are the, I hope I have not disturbed all of you over here, but I just wanted to make a point that please be very careful and use all these platforms. Rather go and create new platforms. I would even go take a step ahead and I will say that create something better than Facebook. Why not? Tomorrow, Neodev or any of you, Vedant can go, Bhavya can go and create new social media platform. So think from that perspective and let the fun begin. That's what I can say. So any thought, Dev? Any thought, Vedant? I'd like to hear from you all.
Sir, it is a very positive note to end to.
Yes, it is a very positive note that we need to pay attention to.
Yes.
So be careful and we'll keep connecting. Because I like such session. I like because the thing is, this initiative of yours now that you all have created, BHIS Council Chronicles, it's like it can act as a catalyst to maybe start a conversation where we could explore answers, find answers. Nobody, see, one thing also I will, before I wind up, I'll tell you that it's not permissible for everyone to know everything. If somebody says that he or she knows everything, he's a fool, he or she is a fool. So it's not allowed, it's not permissible. So with such initiative that you guys have come up with, such interesting, enlightening sessions, it's like a learning at your end, at my end. So we both today have tried to explore, what through this conversation, what could be the answers? How can we, we have to exist in this world only, in this physical world and in this virtual world. Unless and until we go and create a third world for ourselves. Maybe one of you can go ahead and do that. So that's how it is. And let's be positive and hope to bring about the much necessary positivity.
Thank you. It was a very interesting.
Yes, please go ahead. I can't hear. Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. It was a very interesting session.
Thank you. Same for me. I think Smita, any last word from you? I think I'm done from my side.
Yeah, so it was absolutely so revealing everything, and we came to know such a lot about the things. And even the children, they should be very careful. So it was a good input. It was not at all a negative intonation to it. It was actually a very positive one, wherein everybody should be alert about posting such datas on social media or on digital platform. So thank you from our side. It was a wonderful session, and I would
Most
request now
welcome. And
New
please,
and Vedant to
oh,
conclude.
yeah, and
Yes.
also say thanks to Mrs. Preeti Agarwal. Thanks to her that I got this opportunity.
Definitely. Sir. Yes, sir. It is all her endeavors only that we come to meet such
Yes,
wonderful speakers every weekend. So it's so
yes.
nice. Thank you, sir.
Okay,
And
most welcome.
I would request New and Vedant to conclude the session.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir, thank you for the stimulating speech, which was indeed a revelation for everyone. I'm sure everyone must take a lot from this session.
Our heartfelt gratitude to the founder and CEO, Mrs. Preeti Agrawal, for initiating such talks, which kindles us with curiosity and deepens our knowledge. Thank you, sir.
We
Thank you so
convey
much.
our yes, sir. We convey our gratitude to our speaker, Mr. Alankar Srivastava, for the dynamic talk.
Thank you so much, everyone, to be a part of this BHIS Council Chronicles.
We will meet
Please,
again next week on 24th October 2020 at the same time with another guest speaker, Mrs. Pooja Garg. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you.
thank you guys.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. It was
Thank
really
you.
very
Thank
enriching.
you.
Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir.